Hello, this is Vance, and this is Friday, January the 13th, 2017, and these are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. Well, it really turned out to be a pretty narrow range day today. We had the sell-off from the overnight, and when price opened, I was here pretty early. I got up early this morning and got to my station pretty early. Saw this forming up here. Let me smooth this out of the way. This area, and this was about 7 o'clock. Price is bouncing along here, and really it was an opportunity. What I was looking at here is that you can see price really stop bunching up here. I mean, this looks like this is from the overnight. Price is traded down here. Let me get rid of this. Price traded down here from the overnight, from a high of 53.17, just last evening, traded all the way down to the low of the day, and it didn't get any lower. This was the overnight, 52.30. So 52.30, and when price started to stack up here, place to go short. Now, you don't necessarily want to go short on the first time it gets down here, and you really want to see it retest or get close to it anyway. I would think that would be the best, unless it's now it's tempting to go long here. Price breaks up. It's tempting to go long. You see some rejection here, but this is early in the morning. That's the first thing. But I'd like to see it get down to here, so at least your stop can get underneath the low of the day to give you enough cushion to if price is going to head in the other direction. But you have to have a pretty good signal. Now, the first signal you really get is right here, and this is pretty early. This is before 7 o'clock, right? This one. So it's a second entry long right here. I mean, the nice part about it is that if you limit or you buy this in, you're below this area. Price does pull back a bit. Was a little higher, pulls back a bit, goes a little higher. So this is really telling you that buyers and sellers are in balance, really looking for when price is going to open or like the overnight. At least that's what it's telling me. So if you limit in here someplace, as long as your stop is 15 ticks here, you got room to get out. Now you have to break this top right here in order to get it. But I mean, to get your first contracts off, but if you say that this is an area where there's support or resistance or whatever you want to call it, if you buy in here and you're before that, that's maybe a little bit of safety zone. In this one, like if you get your 15 ticks and limit in below here, then you'd be okay for that. That's not a bad play either. Anyway, it would have worked out. Really, then price just kind of stopped up here. This is at 8 o'clock. This is after 8, pulls back, and you get these longish bars. These are pretty long bars, even though it's overnight, so pretty longish bars. Price is kind of rotating back and forth. You get this low right here, and this is at 8:30, about 8:40, pulls back up here again. Price didn't open, and the open was right at, let's see, where's 9 o'clock? Right here. This is 9 o'clock. 8:55 right here, 9 o'clock right here. So price brings down. First entry, second entry long right here, another place to go long. So what I was looking at is this whole area was really the range. I mean, from the overnight, this overnight range here. So anytime price, looking at getting in, anytime price drops down to this area. First we had this first touch, here's a double bottom here. You can argue that price went down, couldn't get down lower. This is just kind of springs down, pulls back up, another tests back down here, another double bottom here, another one really kind of here, another one here. This is really near the open, or not too long after the open. Price did break down. And the nice thing about any of these is that you want to get your stop in, or you want to try to buy in as low as possible. Now, for these ones, you might want to be below here, but when this pulls back and you have these bounces here, you try to get it underneath this area right here. That's probably the lowest area you can go. So that's where it gives you a little bit of a cushion to get in. Same with this one. So that's why I like this trade. You get the first pullback, second pullback, room to get to the other side. You can see it did make it up there. Runner might depend where it is. Runner might have got cut out there by, if you would have entered one tick above this bull bar here, you would have gotten taken out. But had you limited it in right at the top here, then you would have been safe. But that's a hard one to kind of swallow, sort of thing. Price makes it up. You see, just 15 ticks, and then broke through the top of the channel. Now, when it breaks through the top of this channel, you really want to see it retest and maybe pull back. And really the hint is this really looks like exhaustion to me. Look at these bars. They're overlapping here, exhaustion here. So if price kind of hangs on for any period of time, you probably want to look at going short. Now, I marked this one right here. There wasn't really a decent setup. For instance, here, it is a good short bar, but then it pulls back. So I don't know if you were to take that. And the other thing is that, see your 15 tick stop? It's not really, it's not above this one here. So you really need to limit it in order to take advantage of it. That's why I marked this one. But you see this strong bull bar here, and then it turns around. Now, you don't have your 15 ticks. It's not right back there. I want to see it a little bit more comfortable. And that might be just semantics, of course. But I like to see it back there in case, give yourself some more of a cushion. And because you want to get, you're not sure how it's going to respond to this area. We don't know if it's going to go up or can come back. That might test the high of the day. So this is kind of a little dicey one. But when price starts to back up again, and let me show you this trade right here. You see that price this is your first attempted to go up. This is your first entry, failed to go up. First entry, pulls down, and tries to go up again. You don't get a new retest of a new high, but you see this little bar here? It's this doji, and again, tombstone doji. See, it comes down and fills. So you can consider this like a second entry short. First entry pullback, second entry pullback, or this is a first entry, second entry, a failed second entry long here. It doesn't go this direction, you see? It's not enough. It only goes up halfway. So if it's not a second entry long and it looks like second entry short, we probably are going short. So price really backs up here. I marked it in green. It might be a little bit hard to see. It would have worked out, but see these other bars here, you can see rejection here. These were rejecting. Price can't go up there. So, that's another reason to go short on this one. The only difficulty is that, your stop isn't really, as long as your stop is above this double top here, I think it'd have been all right. Of course, the best stop is if you're limiting up here, but you wouldn't get it on this trade if you're limiting and having your stop up here. So anyway, either way, it's something that you could have taken because price really shot down here. We have this pullback. Now, I marked this one. This is kind of a tricky one right here. When you see this is obvious a range here. You see prices double bottom, double tops, on this area. It does break through, can't hold, comes back down. We have a bounce right here. You can see that. So now this really looks like, this is confirming looks like the bottom of the range. Price moves up, comes back down, and look at this bar. That's a nice bar. It's like a second entry long, first entry, pullback, second entry. Now it doesn't retest to a new low, so that's kind of a problem. If you were to enter on this bar, look where this is. You're below this area here, so it's a really pretty decent setup. I didn't take this one, and the reason I didn't take it is because I didn't really have a clear target. If you're going to get a target, it's going to be right at this area. It did break through, and if it breaks through the top, you probably have a failure at the bottom, and this wasn't really big enough failure, I didn't think, and I thought you got it right here. So this is where that failure actually took place. So I was reluctant. You could have taken that trade. It's not a bad trade. Had you taken that trade and you gotten stopped out on it, you can't fault that. It's a pretty good sign. I just didn't take it. And it was because more than anything else, this took a long time to paint. Now we're talking, this is 10:30. Price open here. It took quite a while to move up here, move back down here. This is like an hour and a half to get here, and we didn't get a lot of activity. It didn't seem like the market was really moving that much, and because it was rain, it was just a tight range, and this is a very tight range. That's the other thing. You take 30 ticks here. We're at 30 ticks from top to bottom all the way through here, and so this move is over half the range, and then is it going to recover and do the other half of the range? I didn't think so. So that was difficult. It was a difficult one for me to kind of. That's why I kind of passed on that. I wanted to see how prices would react if it were to test this bottom again, and we did get that test down here. Now again, these areas right here, you get one move down here, and then we get this overlap, and then we get another move down here. We get some more overlap. Pretty strong bar here. I like that as far as the long was concerned. So I think that worked out. But look how long it took, to get out of here. It just kind of back and forth. And the problem is that when it gets to here, it was just really no use. I pretty much gave up at that point in time. I took a couple trades. They worked out all right. But days like this, the problem with a day like this, because the way it was setting up, and after lunch, and because I suppose Monday's a holiday, and in the U.S., and so perhaps everybody left early. So, the previous after Friday afternoon before a long weekend Monday, things were pretty slow today. I mean, it wasn't a large range, so it could have been tough. I could understand after this move up here and after all this stuff, you can just kind of give it up, because this is 11 o'clock. Just to give you an idea of the timing in all of this is that here is this is 10:40, 10:48, 10:50 right here, and price is moving in this area. This is 15 ticks. It moves down. This is 10:48. Here's we got 11:18. So we have this is over half an hour later. This move right here, this move out, breaking out from this area. This is 6 minutes to get down to here, and then price starts. This is 11:30. By the time it moves up here, this is 2:30. So this took 2 hours, and there's really nothing in here. I mean, this is the height of back and forth motion. Look at this. It just really, there's nothing in here. There's nothing really to purchase even here. So you can see this was, slowing down by here by noon, just before noon here. This is 11 o'clock. I don't think anybody even showed up for work today. So here it was just kind of very slow. This you could have taken, but boy, it took a long time to work its way out. From here, by the time you get your first 15 ticks off, this is 11:54. So 24 minutes before it gets to this area. So this took three times longer, when it's moving. I mean, I'm not saying when it's going to range. It's, of course, a lot different when it's in range. But if it was going to move, it would have moved. It took 3 times longer. And if it was going to go another, and it did go another 15 ticks, basically, right here. So it did move its 30 ticks, but how long did it take? This is 12:02 from 11:40, over an hour and 10 minutes. Well, almost an hour and a half, actually, to move 30 ticks. And if it's really moving, it takes about 8 to 10 minutes. Anyway, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to really talk about. So there wasn't a heck of a lot of trades today. Pretty good week overall. I mean, except yesterday and today, it was pretty range bound. And I could see that when there's days that are range bound, it's a lot more difficult. You have to have exercise a lot more patience, and you have to be very careful about your entries. You have to really enter in on the edges of those ranges. You have to use a lot more limit orders, and that's the difficult thing. You've got to put your buys below where it is. If you start entering inside the ranges, you can really get diced to pieces. For instance, let me just show you this one right here. If you were to enter anywhere in this area, you would be in like, for instance, it looks like a pretty strong bull bar right here. But let's say you're a little late. You don't get into this area right here. Okay, like this top. Even though it's a pretty strong bar, you don't get into here. You're halfway into the range, and you have to break out the top of the range in order to get your contracts filled, or to get your first target filled. And these long bars here, right in the middle of the range, where do you enter in this? Are you going to enter here? Because if you do, it's only like 8 ticks to each outer edge of the range. So you really have to enter in the bottoms of the range, or enter with limit orders on the top of the range. And that's a difficult thing to do. You have to expect that when you're doing this, when you're limiting in, you're going to take a lot more break-even trades. You're going to scratch a lot more trades, because it's going to stack up. It's going to take time to move. And that's exactly what happened today. So when you look at certain areas of the chart, like this area here taking such a long time to complete with these little bars, these tiny bars here. Same with this one. This was really a long time. For instance, it took a couple hours to go, very short period of time. Let me just see this. I can't remember it. This is 11, this is noon right here. This bar here is noon. And by the time it gets down to this area, this is 1:30. So this is like an hour and a half. We're talking less than 15 ticks. And look at how tiny these ones are. This is 12:30 to 1:30. This is 1 hour right in this area. So if you're looking at that, I mean, these took 1 hour, and it's barely 10 ticks. So, I mean, what are you doing? Watching this? Trying to figure out where to go in? I mean, after the first bar or two, man, you just put you to sleep. I mean, what you could expect is that because this was a move up, that we were going to move up and out of here, and it didn't. It moved in the other direction. And so there really wasn't enough in any of this stuff. You just kind of forget all this stuff. Even after here, I mean, this is kind of, like I said, this trade here, you might want to see a move, and once you don't get that, then, call it a day. come back on Tuesday, I guess it is. But so that's it. That's what I saw for today. I mean, there wasn't a heck of a lot. There's a couple of trades in here. I think, but as I said, you had to exercise extreme patience today on a day like today. And we got lots of responses to my call for applications. People want applications for that. Keep them coming. As far as you want to join, where's my thing here? The slow hand. I don't even have it up here. So what you want to do is you want to send me an email. Send it to slowhandmethod@gmail.com under Mindful Trading, and we'll do that. I'll send you a package. You can take a look at what it'll entail, the program itself. It's not going to be strictly on looking at entries and exits. It's really going to deal with the mental side of trading, particularly for those individuals who are having problems discerning what's the best trade to take, remaining calm while they're in a trade. There's a whole bunch of things that I've learned, and certainly that has helped me over the years. And I think and people don't focus on it. I don't see very many people trade and talking about the practical aspects of this. But certainly not geared specifically for individuals or custom on a little bit more customized basis. And I can tell you that looking at the mental side is between people that are profitable and people that aren't. It's as simple as that. And you hear about it a lot when people say that trading is mental and it's only 10% edge and the rest of it's mental, 90% mental. That's true. That is absolutely true. So how do you get there? Most of the books that deal with it deal with the mental side of aspects of trading in a very general way, and it's all good information, don't get me wrong. But how do you take it from the book to your actual trading, your actual method? And there are ways to doing that, and things that I've learned, but also things that I've read about, but things that specifically have helped me. It's not going to be the same for everybody, but certainly the same concepts would be applicable. You have to find it on your own. So it's really to help you build your own mental edge. That's the best way I can describe it. Helping the individual trader build their own mental edge. To prevent those errors from happening, over trading, revenge trading, how do you wind up how do you remain calm while you're in a trade? What techniques do you use? How do you overcome risk, loss aversion? There are a number of things that you can do, and they're all kind of the same. They might be a little bit different for everyone, but certainly we can work on that together. Anyway, send a request for an application form. I'll send you out the package. You can take a look at it. This is Vance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.